So when you come to the Jainism and all, we have to understand that it is actually Vartamana Mahavira. We've already mentioned the name Vartamana Mahavira, and Tirthankaras are actually called teachers. So we just mentioned about the word Tirthankara. It is a teacher, and Vartamana Mahavira was actually the 24th Tirthankara, the 24th teacher. And ultimately, with the Vartamana Mahavira only, this particular thing called Jainism was actually established. So there were Tirthankaras there were teachers there. And when the Vartamana Mahavira came, all the teachings were actually compiled in his own form. Then actually this particular thing called Jainism was actually established. So this is a teacher, and he's actually guiding people. And they said that the different features of Buddhism when we Jainism when we say, they actually said that the world is actually extremely animated. It's a Maya. Lot of different illusions are there. So a lot of different teachings were associated with them. And the central theme of this particular Buddhism, Jainism was actually ahimsa. So there are different 5 vows of Jainism, 5 things of Jainism. So if you want to be a Jain, you have to basically follow these 5 vows strictly. So what are the 5 vows? Just like the middle eightfold path of Buddhism, don't have to memorize exactly what this is actually about. You have to have a fair understanding. So ahimsa is one thing. Asteya, that is don't steal from anybody. Aparigraha, that is non-acquisition, just almost the same thing. Brahmacharya, that is actually chaste living. And last thing, satya, that is you always say the truth. So different words are actually being given. Asteya, aparigraha. The UPSC can ask questions. For example, in which of the following philosophies there is a concept called aparigraha? Then you have to understand, okay, that is actually in the Jainism. Or you can say asteya. Asteya and aparigraha are 2 important words, while ahimsa is actually a very common word, right? In our current day also, and in Buddhism also, ahimsa is relevant. But asteya and aparigraha is actually relevant for Jainism. So these 2 words are actually extremely important. Asteya and aparigraha. It is like don't steal from anybody, or don't take a property or anything from somebody under cheating or coercion or forcefully, etc. So these kind of things are actually basic vows of Jainism. And they also advocated no injury to plants, animals, etc. and all these things. And definitely they believed in something called karma. So definitely they believed in karma, and that is why rebirth is actually possible. So based on your karma, you will be reborn into different things, that maybe a plant, maybe an animal, something like that. So and just like Buddha also, the common things about Jainism and Buddhism is that both of them actually advocated for salvation or moksha. And for moksha, to attain moksha, they actually said that you have to renounce the world. So renounce the world, renouncing the world. So ultimately they traveled from the palace, right? Both Buddha and Vartamana Mahavira was actually princes, and they actually renounced their palaces. They actually started to travel outside of the royal places, and they just wandered around. Both of the stories are actually almost the same. They actually did tapas or penance for a lot of years. Then ultimately they attained enlightenment. So both of them actually promoted what it is called renouncing the world. And definitely the next important thing about the Jainism is one important book that is actually called Uttaradhyayana Sutta. Just like we mentioned Sutta Pitaka or Vinaya Pitaka, etc. There is one very important book of Jainism which was definitely compiled or written very much years, much centuries later than Vartamana Mahavira only, and that is actually called Uttaradhyayana Sutta, and that is actually written in the Prakrit language. That is the language of the common people during that time. So that is actually all about Jainism.